Yeah, we start up. Okay. Uh, for you, yeah, I covered like fishbone model. Hello, fishbone model. Did I cover? Okay. So, uh, okay. Uh, Basically, there are so many life cycle models available, right? So, if you go for like waterfall model, V model. So when these models will be helpful is like whenever you have 100% clear requirements before starting up the project. Meanwhile, uh, and you should have stable requirements. Okay, so at that point of time you can go for like agile methodology, sorry, waterfall model or V model. Okay, but today market requirements if you take, okay, today market requirements if you take, so customers are most of the applications, if you take, no project or no application having stable requirements, right? No project or no application having stable requirements. Okay, so waterfall model or V model, this kind of situations not at all best suit. Okay, so that's the reason they come up with one more methodology. So that is nothing but like agile methodology. Okay, so these days most of the clients preferring to go for like agile methodology. Okay, so these days most of the clients preferring to go for agile methodology. Okay, so in waterfall model if you take like there are two types of releases, right? Like major release or minor release. But if you go for like agile methodology is completely different. Okay, so before that I just want to find out in agile methodology yesterday I was talking about, right? So there are different things available. So just give me a second. hmm, this is not correct one. So there are different things you will come across like scrum. So few more methodologies you will come across in your scrum methodology. Yeah, this is what. Okay, so in agile there are four different models you like this you will come across. So those are nothing but like scrum or extreme programming and adaptive software development and dynamic system development method. These are the different methods you will come across in your agile methodology. Okay, so these are the different methods you will come across, but in all of this one scrum is the major one. Scrum is the important method, so so many people, so many projects were following. Okay, okay, so very high level I will tell you like how scrum looks like, how scrum works out. Okay, so just a second, let me increase font. Okay, so other models if you take like major and minor, like that two religious, two types of religious you will come across, right? But here no such kind of religious, but you will call here as like sprints. Also you can consider as like iterations. Okay, sprints are iterations. Okay, each and every sprint may have like 5 weeks or 7 weeks. Remember, this is not at all the time box whatever we are discussing. So this is not at all stable. Okay, so it may get vary from project to project. Okay, sprints you will consider, also you can consider as like iterations. It will comes up like 5 weeks or 7 weeks. Okay, so sprint again they will divide it into like sprint 0. Okay, then sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint n. Okay, so like these different sprints they will make it as. Sprint 0 is mostly for 1 week. Before that you are getting release means what does it mean? Either of fixing the bugs or enhancements, right? So enhancements means change request, right? So change request means either of existing functionality change or enhancements in either of the case. So if it is existing functionality change, so what you have to do? If it is existing functionality change, then you have to update the existing test scripts accordingly. Okay, if it is new enhancements, so you have to come up with creating new test cases, right? So this kind of analyzation kind of stuff and creating test cases or something like that, this kind of stuff, that means like maintenance. So sprint 0 is for like maintenance kind of stuff it will go for. Okay, so sprint 0 is for like it will go for like analyzing the requirements whatever you got newly. So if those requirements are like existing functionality change, then what you have to do? You have to update the existing test cases, or enhancements means you have to come up with creating new test cases. Okay, so this is nothing but like sprint 0. Then it will go for like sprint 1. Sprint 0 goes mostly for 1 week. Sprint 1 it will go for like 2 weeks if it is 5-week life cycle, or if it is sorry, if it is 5-week life cycle it will go for like 1 week. It will, if it is 7-week life cycle it will go for like 2 weeks. Okay, if it is 7-week life cycle it will go for like 2 weeks. Okay, so as soon as you get release, what is your primary testing, primary focus? Tester acceptance testing or build acceptance testing, right? Tester acceptance testing or build acceptance testing. Okay, so sprint 1 for 1 week or 2 weeks you can go for like this kind of testing, like smoke testing or sanity testing. Tester acceptance testing means that's only the meaning, right? Either smoke testing or sanity testing. Okay, either smoke testing or sanity testing. Then you can go for like sprint 2. Sprint 2 again, if it is 5-week life cycle, you will get like 2 weeks of 2 weeks time box. If it is 7 weeks, 3 weeks time box you will come across. Okay, so here you can go for like performing regression testing. Here you will be performing regression testing. Okay, so then sprint n it can go for like ending the sprint. So then you are ready to release it to the customer, right? So you will be doing like estimation kind of stuff. estimation and release. Okay, so whatever the activities or whatever the actions planned for this sprint, whether you are reached those objectives and goals or not, you will try to estimate. Okay, so if your application met customer expected quality, you will release it to the customer. If it's not meeting, then what you will do is you will try to postpone this release. Okay, so this is how it works in agile methodology. Okay, so these are the different things you have to remember. So in the major difference between waterfall model and agile methodology is, in waterfall model, at the end of the application, that means once whole application gets developed, then only you will be releasing it to the customer. But in Scrum methodology, each and every sprint you will be releasing it to the client. That is the major difference between waterfall model and V model. Okay, so that is a major difference between waterfall model and V model. Another major difference is like, if it is waterfall model, so daily or weekly you will be performing status meetings. Okay, weekly you will be performing status meetings, means like every Thursday or Wednesday you will meet in some conference room or some conference call and try to discuss what are the activities you performed for last week, what are the tasks you are performing for this week, what are the tasks you are going to perform next week. Okay, and meanwhile, which are the issues you are facing, everybody sits together in some conference room or in some conference bridge and discuss. But this one entirely different for Scrum methodology. Okay, so if your priority is following like Scrum methodology, means every day like 15 minutes or half an hour. Okay, 15 minutes or half an hour meet in some conference call, that one you can consider as Scrum calls. Okay, Scrum calls. This one also you can consider as stand-up calls. Okay, stand-up calls every day 15 minutes, and here you will try to meet whole team members, not only not only testers. Normally if it is waterfall model, developers they will meet separately, testers they will meet separately. But if it is agile methodology, whole project members, developers and testers including client people, okay, meet. And the major intention of Scrum call or stand-up call is like everybody discussing 3 activities: what you have done yesterday, what are the tasks you are going to perform today, what are the tasks you are going to perform tomorrow. Okay, so what are the tasks you performed yesterday, what are the tasks you are performing today, and what are the tasks you are going to perform tomorrow. These 3 activities everybody discusses. Okay, remember, no issues we cannot discuss in stand-up calls. Okay, so this is very high level I come up with. So that is nothing but like Scrum methodology. Okay, so in detail if we go like I will go through like PPTs. Okay, so I will tell you. Okay, so this one leave it up, it's not required. Okay, okay, so which are the importance I will tell you. These are the, actually I have to customize, I haven't got time. Okay, so I will customize, I will make it as of now very important I will tell you. These all are not required. So Scrum is agile process that allows us to focus delivering the highest business value in the shortest time. So this is the like important thing you will come up in Scrum. And one more important thing is if you are following waterfall model or V model, clients won't be aware of like what is going on exactly within your organization. But if it is Scrum methodology, so they will be keep in touch every day, right? So they should be having very clear picture about what is going on within your organization. Okay, that is one more major advantage of Scrum methodology. So that's the reason most of the clients preferring these days to go for like Scrum methodology. Okay, so it allows us to rapidly or repeatedly inspect the actual working software for client. See, and again one more thing is like I said life cycle is like 5-week life cycle or 7-week life cycle, right? So for some project, earlier I have worked for one project, there they were followed like 2 weeks just. Okay, just 2 weeks life cycle they were followed. At that time it will get vary. Okay, first week it will go for like I said right, maintenance. If that is the case, it may get vary, the time boxes will get vary. Okay, so business sits on the priority. So our team self-manage to determine the best way to deliver the highest priority features. And every 2 weeks to a month, anyone can see real working software and decide to release it as is or continue to enhance another iteration. Okay, so this is just life cycle. So what are the characteristics are like self-organizing teams, product progresses in a series of month sprints, requirements are captured as items in a list of product backlog. This is very important. Okay, so which all are the items for this project, like requirements, simply I have to say means which all are the requirements you are having for this project, that one you can consider as users to backlog items. Okay, backlog items, those backlogs for sprint, you are in a specific sprint, let us suppose. So for this sprint, before starting sprint, what you will be doing is like you will be coming up with sprint planning. Before starting up every sprint, you will be coming up with sprint planning. Okay, the sprint planning is nothing but like how many resources available for this sprint and what are the exact hours they are available. So within those hours, how much work they are going to finish. How many backlog items, simply I have to say means. Okay, how much work means here in Scrum you will consider them as backlog items. Okay, you are having like 50 backlog items, all those one you cannot finish in one sprint, right? So depends on the capacity available, depends on the resources available. So 2 user stories or 3 user stories or 5 user stories, they will try to pick up from this backlog. And for those user stories, here backlog items means in your Scrum methodology, requirements you don't call. Okay, normally these requirements you can call as user stories. Okay, so 5 or 6 user stories, depends on the capacity available, you will pick up 5 or 6 user stories and you will get assigned each and every independent resource. Okay, each and every independent resource you will get assigned. So at any point of time, he should, whatever the task got assigned, whatever the user stories got assigned for him, for this user, for this sprint, he should get finished. Okay, so that is nothing but like backlog items. So the major intention here is like what are the backlog items you are having, from those what are the prioritized, what are high prioritized backlog items, those one you will pick up for this sprint and you will be assigning those backlog items to these resources and will be getting finishing. Okay, so that is nothing but like product backlog, no specific engineering practices. Okay, so uses generates rules to create agile, this one is nonsense. Okay, one of the agile process. Okay, so this is what you will be taking product backlog. So from there which these are the product backlogs. All those ones you are not going to finish within this sprint, right? You will pick up some backlog items which are depends on the like capacity. Capacity means how many resources available and how much time they are available. Okay, so and then daily scrum meetings. So daily scrum meetings, that means like 15 days 15 minutes, right? Every day 15 minutes or half an hour. Okay, then like this cycle will be repeatedly happening. Okay, so scrum projects make progress in a series of sprints. That's what, right? You don't consider here like releases. Here it will be like in the form of sprints. Target duration is like 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 5 weeks or 7 weeks. Here you said like 1 month, but 7 weeks also you can go for. Okay, product is designed, coded, tested during the sprint. Okay, so recommends design, this is okay. So inputs and change requests you will get for sprint. Tested code, you will be tested application, you will be releasing it to the client. Okay, you will be releasing it to the client. Here you are saying like new changes during the sprint, but even within a sprint, you are in the middle of sprint also, you may get change requests from client. You may get change requests from client. Okay, but according to process means no change requests during the sprint. Okay, so here in Scrum methodology, these all are the different things you will come across. Okay, product owner, scrum master and team members. So these all are the different roles you will be having. And I said, right, before starting up every sprint, you will be coming up with like sprint planning. So we'll go one by one. Sprint review meeting, sprint retrospective, daily scrum meeting. So these all are the things, if you are aware of, that is more than enough if you will be into like scrum framework. Okay, so these all are the different terminology and different things you will come across in your scrum framework, scrum methodology. Okay, different roles you will be coming across, like product owner. Product owner is nothing but like pretty good in your application knowledge. Okay, he will be aware of like end to end, that means like each and everything within your application. Okay, so product owner, if you go for like different features of the products, defines features of the products and decides the release date and the content. Okay, and prioritize features according to market value, adjust features and priority every iteration as it needed, accept or reject work results. Okay, so he defines features of the product, meanwhile release date, content. Simply I have to say means he will be taking decision like when you will be releasing it to the product. Okay, so and for this sprint, which are the different things you will be going to take care. At the end of the sprint, you are ready to release it to the customer, right? So at that point of time, if your application haven't met customer requirement, customer whatever the objectives you were set for this sprint. Okay, what are the objectives or goals you set for this sprint, whether those objectives or goals met or not. If those objectives or goals haven't met, you cannot release it to the customer, right? So all these kinds of different things product owner will be taking care. Okay, then scrum master. So scrum master, very high level, what he will be doing is like he will be taking care mostly like documentation. What are the project you are working, you should be implementing like some templates kind of stuff, right? Some templates like weekly status reports, daily status reports, burn down charts. Okay, burn down charts, retrospectives. For all this one, you cannot go for like orally, right? So what they will do, each and everything you will be maintaining some sheet, some templates. Those templates kind of like improvements in those templates, documentation, these kind of stuff these people will be taking care. Okay, so represents management responsible for enacting Scrum values and practices, removes impediments. I don't know yet this. If you have patience, you can go to this one. Okay. Normally, practical oriented. If you go for like Scrum Master's role is like he will be taking care, conducting meetings. Okay. So, what are the precautions you have to take care about the meetings? Actually, for meetings, what are the different things you have to consider? So only the thing is like you will be discussing what are the tasks performed for yesterday, what are the tasks you performed for today, what are the tasks you are going to perform tomorrow. Only these things, except this you cannot discuss like issues. Okay. So this kind of like rules and regulations, priorities, these kind of different things Scrum Master will be going on. Okay. Whenever you have patience, I will share you all these PPTs, you can go through. But this one, if you go for, you cannot remember. Okay. Normally general words you can remember. That is what Scrum Master will be doing. Okay. Scrum team. So Scrum team, it may get vary from project to project. Okay. So typically 5 to 10 people. So QA programmers, UA designers. So if you go for like testers, automation testers, manual testers, whole team members, it will be having. So remember here one thing, 5 to 10 people normally Scrum team works out. Okay. But if it gets exceeding, it's good to go for maintain like different teams. 15 people or 20 people or 30 people, if you maintain like a single Scrum team, okay, so it's little bit difficult to manage. That's why if you have your priority is having more team members, at that point of time you can divide them to different Scrum teams. Okay. That is one more important point you have to remember. Okay. So teams are self-organizing, should be like full-time. Membership can change between the sprints. Okay. So these all are nothing but like Scrum team members, then ceremonies. Okay. Sprint planning meeting already I told. Daily Scrum also I have already discussed. What is sprint, even this one also I have already discussed. Sprint review meeting means this one also you can consider as sprint retrospective. See, all this one if you go for, you will get mad. Okay. It's not required all this one. If you want to go through, you can go through. So participants, okay, customers, management, product owner, each and everybody can involve. Okay. Sprint retrospective. So during retrospective, at the end of the sprint, whole team members will be conducting sprint retrospective meeting. The major intention of this retrospective meeting is like which all are the activities we performed for whole this sprint. Okay. What went wrong, what went so well. Okay. So in which areas we have to improve. By considering these three factors, you will be conducting sprint retrospective meeting at the end of the every sprint. Okay. So sprint retrospective meeting is nothing but like for that whole sprint, which all are the activities we did good, what are the things went so well. Okay. What are the things didn't well. Okay. Didn't went good. Okay. That means like what are the issues you are faced. What are the issues you faced? If you think for coming up with the sprints, what does it mean? How to improve those areas. That's what, right? So in sprint retrospective meeting, each and everybody discusses like his own thoughts he will give. Each and every independent Scrum member gives his own thoughts on 3 points. What went so well, what didn't went so well, and what are our improvement areas. Okay. So on these 3 points, everybody will be telling about their own thoughts. Okay, that is nothing but like sprint retrospective meeting. Here develop meanwhile like scrum master, product owner, all team members, meanwhile like client people also may get involved. Okay. So this is nothing but like scrum retrospective meeting. This one I already told. Okay, product backlog means you are having 50 or 60 or 100. From there, product, this one, see, from for this sprint, which backlog items you are going to take care. That one, who will take decision? Product manager. He will be having very clear picture like what are the prioritized tasks. So product manager, product owner, also you can consider like product manager. Okay, so he will be taking care about like prioritized task. He will be assigning sprint to sprint. Okay, so I will share all these items. Whenever you have time, you can go all this one. Okay, so sample sprint backlog, it looks like this. Okay, so sample backlog looks like this. Sprint burn down chart. Okay, so sprint to sprint, it will be burning down, right? So 700 user stories you are having. Okay, so first week it will reduce 5 or 6, second week it will get reduced, third week, fourth week, fifth week. Okay, like this it will be tremendously reducing. The sprint burn down chart looks like this. Okay, sprint burn down chart looks like this for any of the project. It's the same. Okay, so x-axis, what is x-axis and what is y-axis? So x-axis will be like weeks, y-axis user stories. Okay, user stories. Sprints means weeks only, right? So that is what y-axis means amount, like user stories means how many user stories. So that one, see, that one it may get vary. You may give like hours or user stories. Okay, the major intention is like your chart should get burned out every week. That means like every sprint. Okay. I have unmuted. Anybody having any questions? Okay, anybody having any questions? No questions? No questions? Okay. Okay, then nobody having no questions means we can end up our session. In front, this is nothing but like manual testing. I hope I would have covered each and everything. If something missed out means what we'll do is like we'll be discussing interview questions and something, right? So at that point of time I will discuss. Meanwhile, like even once we finish our course, it's not like ending our relation. After that, whenever you have questions, even you are attending interviews means at the time you are coming up with any questions or something means you can email me or call me, we can discuss. Okay, so this is nothing but like your manual testing. And meanwhile, interview questions we have to discuss. Before going into questions, I suggest please go through all the topic once. Please try to refresh it up all the topics once. And interview questions also you will get it from somewhere, right? From my blog I have shared, right? From there you can get like interview questions. You go through and you yourself, I am sure like 90% of those questions, if you are up to date, you will be able to answer 90% of questions. Okay, so first you try to refresh, you try to get to know all the topics whatever we covered. Okay, then we can go for like those interview questions discussion. We'll set up someday and we'll plan it up. Okay, fine. Okay.